Strange law here in Victoria that if you live in a housing commission flat, you are forbidden to enjoy the privilege, the joy of having a politician come and knock on your door and tell you about all the wonderful things that they will do if you vote for them. I think it's a very strange law. It seems odd. I mean, it's only if you're in a housing commission flat. If you're just in your own house, anybody else, absolutely, politicians can come and tell you just how great they are. Joining me, as promised, is the Shadow Minister for Housing, Richard Wynne. Mr. Wynne, good afternoon.
Oh, Tom, good afternoon. Thanks for the opportunity. It's actually not a law. It is, in fact, a guideline by Minister Wendy Lovell, which doesn't preclude you from door knocking in housing more generally. It only excludes you from door knocking in public housing towers, which, as you know, Tom, are basically scattered around the inner city of Melbourne. So, effectively, the Minister is developing two separate classes of public housing tenants, those that we can go and talk to and those that we can't, and we think that's just outrageous.
Now just so I'm clear, so if someone lives in a public housing house, you can knock on their door, but if they live
No problem. I can knock on your door, I can, or any of the doors of any private tenant or indeed public tenant who lives in a standalone house.
But if it's the high-rise, what we used to call the housing commission flats, you can't go and knock on their doors.
That's in effect what this guideline does. It also, Tom, stops political parties from having an active engagement with their tenants because, as many of your listeners would know, there are community rooms at the bottom of those high-rise towers which are used for a whole range of purposes. So for instance, next Wednesday, we will be defying this guideline next Wednesday and going down to the Brunswick Street estate in Fitzroy to have a meeting with our tenants, because our tenants want to talk with the Leader of the Opposition, Daniel Andrews, to talk to our tenants about a range of issues which Wendy Lovell is proposing, which will affect the lives of these people.
Mr. Wynne, if I could just ask just quickly, I mean, to me it seems a very odd regulation. I can't see, frankly, I don't want politicians, if you don't mind, turning up on my doorstep wanting to tell me about these things. I get to talk to you here on the program. But it just seems odd that they would single out one group of housing commission people and say you have a different regulation to everybody else. I do find that. What were they thinking in your view?
Well, obviously we've asked a range of questions about this to the Minister in Parliament this week, and she alleges in her answer that there were complaints made by residents about these types of activities. Well, Tom, I've been involved in public housing activism and in support of public housing residents for more than 20 years, and I've been the local member in the seat of Richmond for nearly 14 now, and as you kindly introduced me, also as a Minister for Housing. I never had a resident ever complain to me about my either knocking on their door or seeking to have an engagement with them around issues that concern them on a day-to-day basis.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly on this. It's a very strange regulation. We'll leave it there. Richard Wynne, Shadow Minister for Housing. Good luck with your meeting with Daniel Andrews there in Fitzroy next week, and I hope you don't get arrested.
Oh, well, if we get arrested, if they throw us out, Tom, we'll do it out on the street, and I expect we won't get arrested, and the Minister's just got to back down from this. It's a crazy policy, and she knows it.
I agree. Richard Wynne, good to talk with you.
Cheers, Tom. Bye-bye.
State Member for Richmond and former Minister for Housing. All right, let's go back